What's good, everybody? We're now with the Mixx. It's your big dog kid, 6 Shot Town's finest, Carlton, your dig, and your girl Leah, aka the therapist. This is episode 107, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? It's December.
Yeah. I don't have the hat today. I just peep. I be having the hat on my
Word, man.
So people
crazy.
don't get a chance to see Carlton without a
Facts.
And you opposite, cause you
got on the hat
got on the hat today.
Got on the hat. Look, and we in different seats this time.
We switched.
We are in different
completely.
seats, but we are.
I took the hat off. He took the hat on. And we switched shares.
We got the. I feel like the colors aren't too off.
Yeah. Now we good.
Yeah, we good.
We're definitely good.
You know what? Let me start off the show by saying, shout out to Kid 6 and Shot Town Silence because you guys are not hatters. Both know what hatters are.
Tell the people what hatters are.
Tell the people what hatters
Some
folks might not know.
Because, you know, in this season, there's a lot of guys who probably need to wear a hat, so they're so excited when winter comes around. That's what a hatter is. A hatter is someone who, when you take off the hat, you're like, put it back on.
Also known
immediately.
as hat fishing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely a hat fish.
So shout out to you guys that, you know, when a girl looking, she thinking in her head like, is he a hatter? I hope he's not a hatter.
No.
Thank God he's not a hatter when you take the hat off. I know girls think like this because I have. So shout out to you guys.
Some people
never saw hats.
They definitely do.
Take it. I'm a barber. I know. I didn't see plenty of people with them hats. I know.
And I know that they excited for winter, and I mean, 80, I get it. But
What's something you hope, like, if you were to see a girl, what's something that you would hope, like?
Oh yes, that's a good question.
Like the equivalent of like a hat fish or a hat.
Yeah.
All right, so and y'all could probably, I'm sure y'all have seen this before, right? It's.
Let me check myself, ladies.
No. Listen. I'm gonna just say it. But have y'all ever seen, like, you know, a woman, like, she's shaped, and then from the front, you're like, damn, she got a nice figure. You turn around, there's no ass.
Yeah, I've seen that. They be
Sometimes
ass fishing.
Or I mean, you could. What about the opposite way?
The opposite is the pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
When you like, she not shaped like she act, and then she turn around, and it's like, okay, slow.
Butts and guts is what they call them. What do they call them here?
So listen, we don't
body shame.
We don't gut shame either. We don't gut shame either.
No,
especially because here in the Mixx, we body positive. We have workout routines for y'all. You know, y'all can join us in the joint.
So we don't head shame then either, or hair shame, right? I mean,
listen. That's in my craft. I can't. It's my job to make the people that's hat fishing, whatever's under that hat, look as good as I can.
But no, I mean, because some of them can't do anything about that.
They can pull the Tiger and Tori. They better go to they and Deion Sanders. He got the transplant.
I want to know for the fellas who are watching, would you guys get hair transplants or like whatever you call them? Would y'all do that if y'all would just let it go? I
just let it go because I'm gonna still have my beard.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
For the people that don't got beards, y'all got it
it's
tough.
over for
Yeah, it's
got
it
tough.
Like you have no hair on your face and then no hair on your like you look like Richard Jefferson. You're a walking pedophile. Like you look like a walking pedophile. Like, I can't even trust you.
There are some people who can't grow beards genetically.
I know. It's unfortunate for those people.
Facts.
But again, because this is in my craft, you gotta do the best that you can do with what you have. If you got the goatee, get the goatee nice. If you got the little chin, whatever, get it nice. Just don't be like, I seen the old picture of DMX from back in the day. Rest in peace to DMX.
Right,
but DMX was bald headed with sideburns.
Wasn't that like a thing for like?
I'm glad it's not a thing no more. Imagine
it definitely was because I remember when Shaq had the bald head and just the thick sideburns straight down, like it didn't even fully connect around.
It wasn't a chin strap or
nothing,
just sideburns.
Like who has that?
That's insane.
What would you say is one of the things that you like? Oh God, I hope not.
You know what? Damn. Honestly, I would say. I think the thing for me, this is tough because I try to sit back and observe a woman very quickly so I can be like, yay or nay.
Yay or nay.
I ain't gonna front.
I'm already laughing now. You know what I was about to say.
The hair.
So what do you mean?
Like I observe the hair. Like I make sure it's intact. I make sure it's really together.
Okay.
I hope it's together because some.
I mean, there's so many different styles.
Yeah, but it's some women that just like. I feel like they know their hair is fucked and they still walk outside with the shit fucked, like not giving a fuck. Like I've seen women in public like with their tracks, hanging, and they still out here, in fresh kicks, fresh fit. And I'm like, but your hair's jacked.
Can't neglect the mitt.
Facts.
Don't be noticing that, but
y'all they definitely don't.
I'll say I think this is just general across the board. When somebody ain't open their mouth, right? So you just praying to God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Teeth.
Oh yeah.
The teeth gotta be. Oh yeah. I love a beautiful smile, and if I gotta make sure.
Oh yeah.
I gotta make sure. I'm not gonna lie either. Like I definitely look at women's footwear too. Like I make sure that their kicks are together or their.
I think
or
I
their
said
feet.
Before. Feet and teeth.
Yeah.
I think I said it before.
I make sure that it's together because if your shoes are fucked or if they're thick. I'm like, I don't know if I can really trust you.
It kind of depends on where you are too. Maybe kind of throw on some, I got throw on clothes and shoes where you're not like you just kind of running somewhere. And
hell no.
I feel like most of the guys talk to me looking. I don't say dusty. I don't know dusty, but like not put to y'all. I ain't gonna like that.
You hear what she said about shop boss something, man?
Facts. She don't even really like y'all anyway.
That's not true. That is not true.
How many Baltimore men have you dated in your life?
She just called him Dusty.
And you're 40, so that's a long time.
2.
See?
2. I will admit that most of the guys I talk to are out of state. That's true. Doesn't mean I don't like the Baltimore guys here. It's just I just happen to run into guys who live here but are from other places.
Coincidence side, think not.
Guys are so silly. But shout out to my hometown as well as the people who live here. Whatever you said, right here.
Oh, it is? Because before it was Toronto.
That's also home.
Right.
That's also home too.
We are blood.
Which is it?
It's all
Which
3.
Is it? Which one you claim?
New York too. Like it's all that.
Which one you claim the most? In order.
I mean, obviously Baltimore because I'm born, but Toronto definitely number 2.
Mm-hmm.
I've been going there since I was a child. Y'all,
It's crazy.
now I'm a citizen.
We don't know nothing.
Y'all do know that I'm a citizen.
We don't know.
They know us in the 6 anyway. We went up there.
They do know.
We went up there and we had a time last night.
I heard like a time.
Yeah, we had a time up there. It was lit.
I definitely got mad.
Did I miss some time? Even though I'm up there.
Man, what a time to be alive.
That was before the pandemic, y'all.
Hell yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
That was.
Now that was a time. That was a different world.
Facts.
I'm glad y'all had fun in the 6 book. Always.
Definitely got to get back. Definitely got to get back, man. Shout out to the 6.
Yeah.
Shout out to our sponsors, man. Rich King Brand and, of course, Wine O'Clock. Yo, listen, so on this week's episode, y'all, we got a roundtable mix question of the day for y'all. And I'm pretty sure you guys saw this floating around on Twitter. It was trending. But before we jump into any of that, we definitely have to sit back and discuss the breaking news, of course, which really, had folks in the uproar. And the folks that we are talking about is the black community, okay? Because, white folks, they not really affected by this. So, of course, the black folks in the black community as well as the HBCU community are in an uproar. And, it's also been said that if you didn't attend a HBCU, that you can't really give your take. But, you a HBCU alum.
Mm-hmm.
I myself, I'm an HBCU alum. Where'd you go again?
I'm a proud PWI alum twice.
Proud.
Not once, but twice.
Proud.
And yes, your girl Leah, aka the therapist, will be giving her take.
She said not once, but twice. The
But
wife
twice.
was right, huh?
Proud.
It worked for me. I'm in my
Definitely.
career. Got me where I was planning to go.
Oh
so
my
hey.
gosh. Oh my gosh.
But we gonna break it down.
Yeah, we definitely gonna dive into this because you know,
All right, first let's just get the details because people, it was kind of like split, right? And I want to know specifically what Dion said in his speech going to JSU, because people were saying it's not so much of his promotion, but his speech that he said.
So it wasn't. So let me interject.
Well, let's get it.
It's not just that one speech. He spoke several times on several media outlets for a very long time.
So speeches, plural.
Just his overall viewpoint on what his intentions were in doing at Jackson State.
Some of the things I did here is just like bringing awareness, and some people were saying
which he's done.
Check. Also, he said, what did he say about? Some people said he was telling like students that they don't have to go to a PWI to, I guess, make their like sports dreams happen.
Which you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He also went into, what else did he say? Just kind of bringing shedding light more into the sports and HBCUs, which we know in comparison to PWIs is, slacking a lot.
He was trying to change the status quo of HBCU football.
Did he do that?
To a high extent, he did. At least at Jackson State and in the SWAC.
So I just wanted to clarify exactly what he said for the people, so they know what he was saying.
But you want me to give a quote for?
Oh no, you got you kind of like summarizing it.
I mean, the stuff that you just said,
okay.
And then about changing the status quo of HBCU sports and football, because not only did a lot of the most talented athletes from football start to go to HBCUs, but they started to do the same thing for basketball too. And they started going to HBCUs because the overall message that he seemed to have been portraying, directly based off what he was saying, was that HBCUs are capable, and
which they are.
It would be for a lot of the black athletes not to overlook them, especially a lot of people don't know the history of why PWIs can seem more appealing to go to over a HBCU where they're athletes and stuff. So he was just like, we can play a hand in changing that.
Okay.
And he was like, that's pretty much where I'm at with becoming the head coach at Jackson State. And then in turn, he got some of the highest recruits in the nation to go to his school, and they've had like the best record that they've had in like 30 plus years.
Yeah, I think it was 25-7.
He lost 5 games in 3 years. And he lost no games this year.
Oh, sorry, excuse me. Tell us to the people, because people were clearly saying he was there for 2.
No,
I
he was
thought
there for
2 and a half.
He was there for 3 years.
3 years, okay. So
yeah, 3 years, and I think he had like a 5-year contract, I believe.
No, it's 4.
4-year contract. So I mean, for him to accomplish what he was able to accomplish within that 3-year span, says a lot. I mean, new uniforms. You gotta think of what Jackson State University was before he even got there as a head coach.
Beyond the uniforms, he took his salary.
Yeah, he took his salary, invested into the school facilities.
Gained sponsorships.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of sponsorships. I mean, at this point, if you attended Jackson State University and if you were Greek, you was definitely on ESPN with the college highlights and everything, where they were able to showcase that. I mean, he really brought you see a lot of HBCU sports now on ESPN 1, ESPN 2 on television, nationally televised stations, more than you've seen over the course of, I don't know how many years that we've been watching ESPN and SportsCenter. So he's done a lot, but I think as to what C was saying, he also is kind of like, for some folks, it was kind of like he sold a dream. Yeah.
To whom? The recruits?
To the recruits, to the university, to HBCUs in general. But I mean, I don't think he can really speak for all HBCUs, because there are other HBCUs. There are other there are other head coaches. I mean, you got to really think too. Eddie George is the head coach of TSU. Just as much, and Eddie George is also, I believe he's a Hall of Famer as well. So Eddie George, the same energy that Dion has been investing in JSU, Eddie George could have really been doing the same thing. He has a big name. He is a well-known face. Everyone knows him, so he definitely could have been doing the same thing with his energy.
At least he's close to it as a king, because he's definitely not a prime time.
Yeah, he's not a prime time. He's definitely not a prime time. Not even on the same level. Prime time was different.
That boy
different. But you have a number of head coaches that actually, in HBCUs that have had that NFL experience that could have been using their voices to also promote HBCU athletics, not just Prime. Now I can see why folks were being upset because, of course, Prime throughout all of this has definitely been using God in it as well. JSU was God's calling.
He did say that.
And now all of a sudden,
I have a person who has their
Colorado
vocation.
Yeah.
I wanted to screenshot this because they kind of broke down their issue.
Okay.
With this, I want to kind of get both sides.
All right.
This person said the issue is not as simple as him leaving. The issue is all the shit he talked when he got there about building a legacy, building up HBCU sports. Then he leaves after 2 years. So correction, 3 years.
3 years.
when the very people who didn't want him started calling. So people were also saying these same what's it called, D1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they
Power
were
five,
not. Power Five.
FBS.
Were not checking for him until after he went down to JSU and did his thing, and then they started calling him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes you guys, it's a.
But it's like a business. That's what I was gonna say. It's like a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
The issue is all those players, like the top player in the country, Travis Hunter, who came to Jackson specifically to play for Dion, and then you leave. So the issue is when he called out for not really being dedicated. What's SWAC?
SWAC. That's the conference that Jackson State is in.
Okay.
Southwest Atlantic Conference.
So we gotta make sure all this college football stuff.
I
don't watch college football, but
he's probably trying to sound it out. That's why you spelled it.
I want to make sure it's SWAC, right?
What's SWV?
By another coach, Dion played it off like dude was hating, but he was absolutely right. Dion wasn't trying to build up HBCUs. No one else wanted him, and HBCUs welcomed him like a king, but really he was just there until the white folks came calling. And then they only want him now because they see the influence he has had on HBCUs, and that's a threat to their universities. He took the bait because now he's going to do what everyone else do, take the potential talent from HBCUs, then drop them in Colorado, Alabama, etc. The HBCUs get the leftovers. So what do y'all think about that? I didn't want to get that. I thought that was an interesting.
I see. Here's my.
And I got another side on the other side too.
Yeah, here's my thing on it. Right, I think a lot of folks forget because they were so invested at seeing the fact that okay, yeah, Prime is doing all of this with HBCUs, but you got to remember. He really wanted to be a Power 5 head coach.
And he said if an opportunity presented itself, he would take it. So he did not lie.
Yeah. So that
would entertain it.
And he did.
And then took it.
Mm-hmm. He's not going. Listen, I'm telling people this. I'm like, yo, you gotta understand. Prime gonna do what's best for Prime, no matter what. And
$1 million and $26.5 million.
Yeah,
I mean, most people would. I would.
I get it. You do all of that because now you're going to take, I see the frustration because, of course, you want to take those talented athletes that's at JSU and who are able to transfer and have them come to Colorado. So, of course, you're going to try to build that up. Mm-hmm. See, Prime know exactly what he's doing because he already has his resume together. He got JSU on there. 2 SWAC titles, undefeated season. Then on top of that, you about to go to Colorado and try to change that university around as well as, try to attempt to get to a Pac-12 championship. Then, of course, if the NFL calls, what y'all think he going to do?
Well,
right to the NFL.
This person went on to say, another person on the opposite side, anyone who donates half of his salary to upgrade facilities, bring national spotlight to Jackson State and other HBCUs, lead the team to a 26-5 record, 2 SWAC titles, and have an appearance on ESPN from College Game Day. When was the last time this happened for an HBCU? He is not a sellout. Congrats to Dion.
does. He also know in
So
the
maybe
positive.
he feel like he has done what he could do and probably beyond, because we don't even know what type of conditions he was facing while doing all of this. And I feel people probably want to hate me to say this, but sometimes I feel like we have this savior complex. Wasn't Kendrick talking about this on album? Which the one song no, I ain't gonna say the one song I like, but that is my favorite track on the record. But we have this. Yes, it's one of my favorite songs. I can tell you the tracks I do like off the album. But that, like, we have this savior complex, like this one man. People were saying now that he left, what's going to happen to Jackson State? Well, keep moving on. Like, what do you feel like is just going to crumble all together because one man left?
It very well can. I want you to know that.
No, I'm not saying nay, but then what do other people do to step up?
I mean, you really have to take in the blueprint. So whatever next head coach is coming in, or even if it's somebody that's already on the staff that's going to, be the next man up, you just got to take that blueprint.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it may not have
that
similar impact, but it's something like, just act like it's more like we completely, it's nothing now because the man left.
It's not going to be easy, but also at the same time, if y'all sit back and dwell on that and then try to, well, if the season wasn't as successful as it has been these last 3 seasons, then it's just like, oh, well, it's Prime's fault. You can still get talent there.
So, I don't want to say a lot to say, but maybe. So, I'm going to break it down. HBCUs, we know the purpose of HBCUs were not just because it's where the majority of black people went, but it was because they had no choice, because the PWIs would not allow them to come there. So we had to start our own institutions to even get education. So we start there. Boom. I want to say until the late 1970s, HBCUs were the number one choice for most of the black talent. A lot of them were going there, I want to say mainly on this side of the country, because people on the West Coast, some of them were coming as far, but it's no HBCUs on that side of the country.
Right, so you definitely either want to go to
they
USC, UCLA's.
Right, and so, but to that point though, again, the PWIs didn't really want them there until they started to see how well the black people were doing at these schools and how it was bringing certain money and certain light to them, and they don't want that light at HBCUs, and so historically, the states that house these HBCUs, and I can speak specifically for Maryland because I went to HBCU in Maryland, but this doesn't just apply to Maryland. This applies to all of the HBCUs and all of the states that they reside in. The states don't provide the same amount of funding and resources to these schools as they do their PWIs on purpose. So for that point, when they're giving all of their funds and stuff to the white institutions, and then those are the ones that's getting the contracts for television, those are the ones that's getting all the stuff. If you really want to make it in the pros for whatever your respective sport is, the best look for you would not be a HBCU. So it's like, this isn't a thing that happened overnight, but it happened rather quickly, where starting in I want to say, don't quote me on the exact year, but it was 77 or something like that. They started to change the stuff around. And then by the next 10 years after that happened, it was completely turned around where the black people weren't even going to HBCUs anymore. So over the years, people have been saying for the longest, forget these white institutions and y'all need to go bring the black talent to the black schools, whatever. And everybody was just I hear you, but they don't have the same kind of stuff that I need to go pro. And I have, even as far as competition goes, some of there are a lot of D1 schools, but they don't play the same kind of competition where, and if you want to give an example of what I mean let's say somebody is in the MEAC, which is what Morgan and stuff is, and they play and they drop 50, right? That's different than if they were playing Kentucky or Duke or North Carolina and they drop 50 against, one of those types of joints. And it won't be weighed the same. So they're going to be yeah, you all right, but you didn't even play against nobody when you dropped that 50. It's probably easier for you to drop that 50. Yeah. So we're not going to respect it.
They kind of measure the talent.
Yeah,
to see if you can actually do this against a Power 5 school.
Right. And so to Deion Sanders' point, and this is why people were upset the way that he sold it, he recognizes all of this stuff. He recognizes all of these plights, you know what I'm saying? And these were all talking points when he was going to Jackson State. Before that, Jackson State was not his first choice. He was trying to go, he got turned away from being a coach at his own school that he went to school. You know what I'm saying? It was Florida State. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want him there. Yeah, they didn't want him there. every other school, every other FBS, FCS, D1 school, whatever, they turned him down. Part of the reason why they turned him down too is because one of the requirements to even be a head coach, you have to have a bachelor's degree, at least. He didn't have one.
And Talladega University actually sped up the process in order for him to get the head coaching job at Jackson State University.
Talladega College is an HBCU.
Yep.
So HBCU gave him a degree, and then when no other schools would give him a chance, they gave him a chance to be a coach. And then he knew, and this is the crazy part, because to some people it was obvious that this was just a stepping stone. And we understand business, people leave jobs for better jobs and higher salaries all the time. But when you come in there and you like, this is the culture that I'm trying to change around, whatever, and then you start to actually do it, people are like, this isn't a job that can be done and can set a good trend for it to continue after I leave in 3 years. That's why people are like, damn, because immediately, I don't know if y'all seen his press conference or his speech, you know what I'm saying, that he gave to the new players at Colorado, but he was just like, yeah, I'm bringing some people over here with me.
So
yeah,
and it's like, damn, already you taking away from the talent that you brought.
I do see that. That's why I texted in the chat. I understood both sides. Even if he were to fulfill his contract and then left, then what? What if people would have said then? And
so this is why I say that who he is plays a very big part into the overall point, because like we was just saying that the coach at TSU, he's not as big as Prime is. Mm-hmm. So the influence that somebody can, Deion Sanders is one of the greatest athletes that we've ever seen. Yeah. He's one of the greatest football players that we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. He played football and professional MLB baseball at the same time. Right. He's one of the greatest. So that kind of influence that he can have, a lot of people were going there just because of that. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like when we like, okay, you actually taking on this burden, you got to be in for the long haul, because this isn't an easy task. And he made it kind of seem like that he was. Even though some people was like, bro, we know that there's levels to this shit. But a lot of people thought, I was one of the people that thought he was trying to get HBCU schools to the level of these Power 5 schools. And it was almost like,
maybe not that, but can we say that it's a start, or was it a start?
It's a start, but again, like I'm saying, how can it continue? Like, who else can come to Jackson State or any other HBCU that has the kind of influence that Deion has to continue this thing that he created, that we got the ball rolling on? Because,
all right, so I mean, I see that point, but I really want to. People really say he a sellout, and I don't want to say he's a sellout.
I wouldn't say he's a sellout, but also at the same time, it's just kind of like, I look at Deion Sanders like he's a salesperson, right? He's going to sell you a dream. He's going to tell you everything that sounds good, but then once you're sold, that may only last you about like a good 2-3 years, and then it's just kind of like, and then what, Right. And
that's the question.
But here's the
what's what he said too.
Yeah, but
what do you say? You either get terminated or you get promoted or something like that.
Something like that. So, and then also at the same time, it's just like, again, a blueprint, because there are actually head coaches that are already there. Again, like I mentioned, Eddie George. There are also some other prominent names that are head coaches for HBCU sports athletics today, to where they saw the blueprint. They can actually speak out and still continue to bring folks there, right? A lot of folks got on Shannon Sharp on Twitter the other day, because he tweeted, let me pull this up so I can make sure I'm reading this correctly. Where is it at? Because he definitely had a lot of folks ticked off. So there was a question that was posted, and it was like, that's not the question. Yes or no, do you think Black institutions are a downgrade? Shannon's response was, I went to an HBCU, but only because I was Prop 48. It worked out great for me. Had I had the grades coming out of high school, I wouldn't have chosen an HBCU. Shannon Sharp was a top high school recruit in the state of Georgia. He actually wanted to go to Georgia, but because he didn't have the grades, the head coach from Savannah State actually came down, spoke to him, wanted to talk to him, and I think Shannon's head coach was actually trying to like talk Shannon out of it, and that's what high school coaches would do typically too. That's why they try to stare.
Speaking of Shannon, people are on him, but what did he say that was wrong?
Yeah, so pretty much, so somebody responded and said, so you used your HBCU to get on because you ain't have the grades. Thanks for your honesty. You would have never made it to the NFL without an HBCU. Shannon, I expected more from you. So for that, it's kind of like.
But that's not even true. How would they know that? That's just assumption.
Yeah. I think when people really look at it, you gotta understand.
People don't understand sports and all that. That's what
I think something, especially during the time that when he was coming up, like you're gonna have a lot of coaches that's like, if they see your talent, you're gonna have a lot of coaches that's really gonna tell you like, hey, you know, in order for you to even get to the next level, you're gonna have to go to a Power 5 Division I school. You're not really gonna get looked at like that. Meanwhile,
but is that not true?
It's true. There are. I forget. It
shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
I agree, but it is true. So he took the opportunity like anybody else would.
But also at the same time, there are, including Shannon Sharp, there are a number of HBCU alum who are actually Hall of Famers.
Okay.
From the NFL that went to an HBCU. Hell, the greatest freaking wide receiver of all time went to Mississippi Valley State University, Jerry Rice.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the Hall of Fame. You know, extremely talented. So I think if that wasn't pushed, you would probably have a lot of top talent wanting to go to an HBCU. But because if you're having that bug in your ear that, oh yeah, you can only reach, you know, to the highest level and get where you want to get to, you need to go here.
Yeah.
Which sucks. And Shannon, you know, I can respect his honesty. He probably presented it wrong, but I can respect his honesty. But also at the same time, he did mention on the show too that
I think he's presented as real as
he also presented on the show too that, you know, if he had to do it all over again, he would choose Savannah State. Okay. So even with him, you know, settling for an HBCU, he didn't want to go to an HBCU.
And why is that wrong? Now I'm coming from the PWI's perspective. Why is that wrong? Like, we gotta, like, I feel like people feel like you don't honor your blackness because you went to a PW. There are black kids at PWI. What about us? Like, we just don't count.
Let's not forget about the larger picture.
Okay.
The larger picture again
is that you'll only make it as far as you go by attending a PWI Power 5 school. You won't make it as far if you go to a HBCU.
Or rather, it's like 100 times harder. So to Shannon Sharp's point, he was like, I think he was top 5 in his position when he was in high school, right? But he didn't have any grades. So even some of the best schools in the country was like, we don't care about you. And I'm not gonna lie, that's not an uncommon thing where some of the best talented people in whatever sport they're in end up not having the grades and then they end up not making it. That happens often, far too often.
That's why they go to JUCOs.
And then some of them do go to JUCOs, but then it's even harder to go from a JUCO to another like top 5 school because recruits is coming in. Yeah. And oftentimes too though, like in Shannon Sharp's case, HBCUs are some of the only schools that give these black people a chance. Mm-hmm. And this is even on a regular level. There's people that was like, I had a hard time getting into college because of this reason or that reason. The HBCU gave me a chance, whatever. We know that to be the case. And then, like I said, historically, we know how they literally make these PWIs far better schools in order to not just sway you there, but almost force you to go there. Because like we saying, if you want to go pro, these other schools, and it's not their fault. They're trying against it. Even with Jerry Rice, like Jerry Rice, I don't want to say he was a diamond in the rough because he was a gold wide receiver, but the nigga Jerry Rice, I gotta Jerry Rice was different. He was different. He was very, very great. But he's also not like, that's not like a common situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because nowadays we seen the turn of Alabama, we seen the turn of Florida's and USC's and Ohio State's, Michigan. We seen how that goes, and those, even as far as how the media goes. The media puts all the attention on these schools. So those are the ones that get the TV contracts. Those are the ones that get the highest and best facilities and all of that stuff too. So when we looking at that, the HBCUs are like, we can have, and Deion said this about the people at Jackson State. He was like, the talent there is just the same as the talent is like Alabama's and Auburn, like these Power 5 schools, but they don't get the same looks, and then also they don't have the same facilities to even become the kinds of players that a lot of these other schools have. And then people don't really look at them schools the same based off of like reputation and pretty much their own individual situations. So,
which is so crazy because when you really think about it, when you look at all these college teams and you look at the amount of black people that they have on that team, and just imagine the number of black people that would shift and go to an HBCU. Like, you gotta really think, man, you going to these Power 5 universities, all they're doing is using your black skin for their likeness.
they are.
You know, you have these white coaches that are upset at the fact that, like, you know, players in these NIL deals getting money. What you expect? It's about as difficult. We've all attended, you know, universities. It's hard. It's a struggle trying to have money on the campus and fend for yourself when you on campus. It's difficult. You out here using it. You a head coach getting a 6-year, $120 million contract to coach me, use my likeness, but I can't eat. That's $120 million right there. I can't eat. You getting upset because I'm getting an NIL deal to take care of myself, to take care of my family.
Hell, I'll take it a step further for you because I like to use specific examples that I know. And in this great state of Maryland, I say that.
Great state.
I say that with all sarcasm.
Okay.
The 4 HBCUs in the state of Maryland just recently won a case that they had been fighting for almost a decade for close to like $1 billion. I think. Well, it's different prices per school based on the size of the school. But essentially, the HBCUs in the state of Maryland won a case against the state of Maryland because the state of Maryland had been literally taking funds away from the HBCUs and giving it to the state PWIs. So it's like when I was Mr. Morgan back in 2012, that was when it first came across, and we literally boycotted. You know, we did a whole bunch. That was 2012. They didn't win until I think last year. But to that point though, like I'm saying, is that we know that the powers that be are literally working against us on the other side, and that's why when everybody's just like, damn. Of course, we already know the trump card, the elective. If all the black people just go to these schools, then all of that would change. And it's like, yeah, it would. But the chances of that happening, like that, it's not really that likely. That's why Deion was like, when he started to do what he was doing, it started to change slowly. And then also, maybe if Jerry Rice was a coach or something at Mississippi Valley State or some other school or something, people would look at his influence and his likeness and start to go there. It's gonna take a real special kind of person to go to these HBCUs and you know, actually be able to bring in some money and actually, you know, change and it's gonna take some time too. Yeah. It's just the fact that Deion Sanders, you know, we've seen that he started to do that.
Well, if anything, yes, he gave an
but
example.
he just needed
more
time. He just needed more time. It's not that many people like Deion.
No, I'm just saying for the people who can try something, just to kind of sit back and
you think people haven't been trying?
I will hope not.
You will hope they have not been
trying?
trying?
No, I hope they have been trying.
They have been.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying it just hasn't been working in the same way. That's why when Deion came, niggas was like, finally, like, you know, we found somebody that can do the thing that we need to be done. And he's like, oh yeah, now I'm finna go to Colorado. Which, I mean, he's a competitor. I understand who he is as a person. So he's gonna be like, you know, this is a challenge for me. I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna change this, whatever. But then niggas like, so some of the same people that was only going to Jackson State to play under Coach Prime, now they're gonna go to Colorado.
So what do y'all think about the folks? Because Charlamagne had an donkey today, and was for people who was criticizing Deion and said, and I'm gonna look in the camera. What have you done for your HBCU lately? I wanted to play it as 11 minutes, so it was pretty long, but he went on a whole big and asking, what have people were saying, people were criticizing, what have they done to better an HBCU?
Did they get answers? Did he get answers?
That was more of a, I don't want to say rhetorical question, but it was really kind of put out there to think, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who probably had a lot to say and screen calls when
that's like one of them
donations being asked for, mails, they throw it out.
I hear that. But
I mean,
at
I
the
do
same
it for
time,
Towson, but
it ain't no amount of donations that's going to change this shit when the state is literally.
oh no, nobody was saying in reference to like changing that. It's just having
that's
the
why I'm saying
criticism
him
in
even
general.
saying that. Him even because what about the people that do donate and give and they saying the same
But
thing?
then the shoe don't
And
fit.
you also got to really realize too, like there are a number of
I think
like HBCUs that actually do need the funding, and I think sometimes like and for those that actually attended the HBCU, like they definitely get upset when you look at like the same 5 universities, the same 5 HBCUs always getting donations from like celebrities,
and to call out
like Spelman, Morehouse, Clark, Howard. Like you look at these same universities and it's like damn near every year you have a celeb donate, and then it's just like, yo, those are not the only 5 HBCUs that need help.
And to speak to HBCUs, and yes, I'm gonna say it, like Howard, for example, just last year, students were complaining about mold, roaches,
exactly.
all of that.
So
Where's
it's
this
just
money
like
going? They get
yeah.
millions of dollars. So I'm just saying, why these conditions and facilities are looking like that for those who do get these donations and sponsorships and things like that. What is happening?
Yeah.
There's no reason why for Howard, as I'm sure the millions of dollars that they get for students in 2021.
I ain't going to front. Howard probably gets like a donation damn near every fucking year.
Didn't Jeff Bezos' wife did? Who did she give to? Was it Howard?
But they would do shit like give $1 million, $2 million here and there. These shits be like you gonna need way more money than that.
Yeah.
Like when they won the case, it was like I said, it was close to $1 billion that they won. So it's gonna take more than just a few donations every other whatever. Because again, they could be like, oh, I'm gonna donate $2 million. That's like enough to fund a sports team for like a season or 2, rather than like, oh, we're gonna change the whole entire doing it for the dorms or some stuff like that.
So we're saying that the only way to change this narrative is if we have.
I'm not saying only, but
a way to change the narrative to receive government funding and resources.
Yeah.
Okay.
1,000%. Well, if you need to see an example, look at the PWIs.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting direct money from the states. They're getting all this shit, and they flourishing. Everybody's glowing it, and it's
I heard the University of Colorado's facility is gorgeous.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And their sports program sucks.
The sports program is
you
not
don't have to change that.
Yeah, that he is.
It just, I will say this though, to speak a little bit on the other side, because I'm totally on the HBCU side. If I were to look at an even larger picture, at least from an individual standpoint of Coach Prime, I would say that we know, as far as having black coaches in some of these Power 5 schools, that's not a thing for real.
Yeah.
So if he's trying to work his way to that can also be a thing. It sucks that it has to be like, from like, it has to like go through this route. You know what I'm saying? But if the end goal was something like that, just to show that he could do it, because we know, even as far as we go in the NFL, it's not a lot of black coaches
at all.
It's some teams, like we talked about Jerry Jones last week. That motherfucker's never hired a black coach in the history of him owning that team. Mm-hmm. And then there's 0% black owners of NFL teams. Like, so I mean, there's larger pictures, and I mean, I'm not gonna speak for him and say that that's where he's going, but I would hope so. If this is the aftermath of this ball that we got rolling, I would hope that it at least rolls in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. So we're safe to say that we're able to see both sides of the coin.
Yeah, I could definitely see both sides. I'm not going to look at just the one side. I see both sides, and
I did too. That's why I wanted to get both perspectives, because I did understand both sides.
It's also just like, again, for Jackson State.
What do they do moving forward? Because Dion, at the end of the day, like you said, he has to take care of himself. He did what he did. He's moving on, because beyond all of that, and like I said, man still has a family, himself. People are not really looking at that. And like I said, he fulfilled his contract with some people that said, well, why don't you do another 5 years? Is he supposed to be married to
Make no mistake, Deion Sanders is doing.
No, I don't mean necessarily that he's not doing well. I'm just meaning just thinking about beyond just financial decisions he had to make for himself and his family. Maybe they just wanted to who knows, leave. I mean, Mississippi is one of the poorest states, and you don't leave. I want them on.
Listen,
Mississippi, you want to go down there and live?
Listen, Brett Favre just got them motherfuckers for $5 million. Shit.
Anybody talk about that? But I'm just saying.
Brett Favre, he a Packer too. Fuck.
beyond just the
This is fucked
financial
up.
standpoint, it's so many other factors that we are
Whoop
not
his ass.
seeing.
My bad.
I know.
I'm not gonna lie.
We're
I'm not
not
gonna lie though.
seeing,
Like
you know?
watching
I think
Dion,
Colorado's probably better, but
watching Dion leave, and then his son. I feel like his son really didn't want to leave Jackson State. Like even looking at the videos and just seeing his like facial expression.
maybe
It's-
it's,
it's-
Colorado. I probably wouldn't either, but
I mean, yeah, but also at the same time, it's just like it's nothing like an HBCU. That feeling of just like just being you, being able to be you, you know, enjoying yourself. When you look in the crowd, you seeing the faces. We know you only wanted to go to a PWI because you got tired of seeing black people.
I didn't never feel like I couldn't be myself at a PWI.
Nah, you just ain't want to see black people no more.
Nah.
Nah.
So,
Speak. Go ahead.
I just
Go
wanted
ahead.
to,
Nah, speak your truth. You know
Yeah,
how Shannon
I'm-
tweeted how.
Oh, definitely. I'm
Stand
standing
up,
on
look in
my
the
10.
camera.
I'm
Look
standing
on the
on my
camera.
10 toes, and
Who
I
being
say,
Shannon today?
Right.
right, Leah Sharp. But don't Skippy stand on his too. You know he stand on his because he was. But anyway, I wanted to go to a PWI because I just wanted diversity. I've been through a black.
How you gonna win when you
Predominantly.
ain't white within?
Oh,
No. Say it right.
Nah.
you said it right.
I said it right.
You said it white.
Say it right.
You said it white.
I just
I said it
wanted
correctly.
something different. But again, this is a conversation. Maybe we can have this for another day. But it almost says, and I want to ask this and put this out there, for black students who go to a PWI means they do not honor their blackness. And that is not true.
Is that what this conversation is turning into?
No, we're gonna save that. This is this because I've seen
We
some
had that
comments.
conversation before, right?
We
Definitely
did. So
did.
I wanted just to kind of put that out there for the Mixxeners because we do have Mixxeners who have been to HBCUs. But I want to hear from the PWI students, black kids like myself. How do they feel about that? Because I feel that people feel like you can't be black because you're going to a PWI. You're
Post
like
that on your
some-
Facebook. I'm a post.
And you know,
I'm
I
post
don't
it on
know if
the
it's, I mean,
NMX
maybe
page,
I
too.
probably have to post that because a lot of my folks who is like a mix
Mhm.
of PWI HBCUs. So, you know, I have a lot of my college friends too, obviously like Towson and things like that. But, you know, some of them, one friend from Towson, he was like, oh, all the HBCU folks are mad, you know. So you have this whole PWI HBCU clash all the time. It's so segregating and just divisive, and I don't know. We need to come together. We are all black alike, okay?
She just pulled. Can't we all just get along? Goddamn, right?
I really did, because at the end of the day, we should all just be fortunate that we're able to get an education no matter where we go.
That's a way to look at it.
Mhm.
Because I didn't feel any less black going to Towson or University of Baltimore.
I mean, were you ever really fully?
I can give you some reasons why you should. We don't say it for nothing here.
But we want to, so yeah, that's a conversation we can have for another day. But again, I feel like in the mix, we all agree that we can see both sides of the spectrum here. I feel like at the end of the day, Dion, congratulations. If the man wanna make some decisions for himself and did, move forward, I'm a supporter of that. But I also understand the folks in Jacksonville are probably hurt. No, not probably. They are hurt. I had to take that back. They are hurt. And
Extremely, because you gotta really think, man. Like, he was bringing celebs there. It was kind of like, you know how when USC was on their run, you had a lot of celebs coming down there. When University of Miami was on their run,
like
you
I
had
said,
celebs coming down there.
Think about it. When his contract was up, then what? Because people are going to say he was supposed to be this. So I really want to ask that question to the folks who had on the other side. Once his contract was up after a year, what's happening next? Because then he's out of his contract, so people can't argue, well, you didn't even fulfill your contract. Well, he did in this case. So then what?
It's a higher purpose, though. I think you should know that and not forget about that.
No, it is. I agree. But I'm like, I just wanted people to know who, again, once he fulfilled his contract and said, now I want to move forward, what do you
It's
do?
probably going to say the same thing.
I know. I believe that no matter it's pretty much saying stay your ass at Jacksonville.
Until this change is here.
That's what I think people
fires we start
Let
to
me
spread.
let me tell you something. Colorado, they definitely gonna make sure his ass fulfill that contract.
I hear that they didn't even really have the money. Now there's no rumors, people on the internet. They didn't even have the money to pay him, but they took out grants and loans just to make that $26.5 million.
Yeah, they definitely did. Who's donating to the program? These motherfuckers, I think they won like 1 or 2 games last season.
All right, well, we want to keep an eye out for some people wishing bad for Dion, but we not in the mix. We not.
Nah, I'm definitely not, man. I ain't going front, man. Shout out to Jackson State University for even getting to that point. Shit, I'm still waiting for Lincoln to get a football coach that know what they doing, so we could start winning some games. We haven't had a winning season since they brought the damn program back. So everybody complaining about Dion leaving Jackson State. What about Lincoln?
Well, I think
the first HBCU, we still struggling.
Before you worry about Dion, you Steelers are winning.
Steelers ain't an HBCU.
I know. I'm just about to say before you talk about a losing team, I'm about to focus on you.
These niggas like
Steelers right now.
But I'm mad the Steelers are, but damn, you all sloppy. I'm mad the Steelers are winning. I won a top 5 draft pick, But shout out to my Lakers though, because they definitely been turning it around. Hey, your boy AD.
He just left the game.
Bro, go to the
right now. We can go to
yeah. Listen.
He just left it.
I
don't want to show you, but I'm gonna show you.
Just giving him some props.
I'm talking like this just in like 10, 15 minutes ago. But
it just,
y'all see it. 80 out.
Oh my gosh, bro!
He's averaging like 50 points over the past 2 games, but shit happens, man.
But go ahead, still shout him out, even though he bought out like he always is.
Oh man, here we go.
Here we go. Bro, if you pluck this man, he's out for a few weeks. Like, god damn, I just can't take it anymore, man. Listen, we understand both sides of Prime, and we can also understand. Can we sit here and say we understand both sides of Shannon?
Somewhere. I understand every side. I pick the side though.
Yeah, I'm always gonna rock with HBCU no matter what. I'm always gonna rock.
I always understand.
But when it comes to understanding sides, I like the way we transitioning over to this one. So to understand somebody's side, you have to can you be a good friend to understand why someone is doing what they're doing, right? So let's get into it. I'm gonna turn things over to your girl Leah, aka the therapist, because this week on our roundtable Mixx question of the day.
It's been a minute. I feel like we haven't done the roundtable in a minute, but shout out to C over here who dropped this question in the chat. So I guess you guys are saying this is trending on Twitter.
Yeah, shout out to Black Twitter.
I seen some people talking about it. It became a whole conversation where I was like, damn, they making good size.
So not even Leah. Leah don't even want to know the people. The people want to know: can you be friends with someone who's a cheater? And when we say cheater is like habitual. Not just cheat, like
sound like I'm drinking a 40, you know?
And
a little bit of water. Pellegrino.
And does it or can affect the friendship? So I had to ask the people what they thought.
It's just some of these answers.
And to my Facebook folks, just don't like the post. I get it. Thank you for the like, but
we need answers, folks.
We need answers. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
If Leah was showing ass, I bet y'all drop comments then. God damn.
And shout those people are. But so my first person said, it's possible. I think it depends. Because as a friend, I don't judge your sins, just as I wouldn't want you to judge mine. But ultimately, it boils down to your morals, standards, and values, and if you want to be friends with said person. A lot of us are friends with all kinds of people that we have no idea what they're really doing. That's true. The other person said, yeah, I tend to stay out of my friends' relationships unless I'm directly out of the mix. So if they're cheating, then that's on them to deal with. I tend to not get too involved with the significant other. Actually, I was having this conversation with my coworker and he said the same thing. But in case a situation like that were to come up, that way I won't have to feel conflicted between telling the other person and feeling like a bad friend or not saying anything and still feeling guilty for knowing. I'm gonna like that. That's a good answer. I didn't get a chance to read these, so that was a very good answer. The other person said, all my friends know I do not condone that type of behavior. So if you're this person's friend, just know if you're cheating,
It's probably they probably are cheating. They just make
It's
sure
like,
it
I
don't
listen,
get
give
back
to
to
her because they know she not the one to tell.
That's
Right.
a perspective.
That means I do not care to discuss things if that nature.
Yeah.
No, she put if. It was a typo.
You know what I'm saying? Don't be her friend.
Right.
She typing.
In that nature. If people are not happy, they should just leave. It may not be easy as it's said, but it can be done. So no, it doesn't affect my friendships because she's not tolerating it. What can a spouse or significant other disrespecting you and your friend doing nothing about it? That's a topic. This other person said it's a strong possibility that we already are. Already are what?
Friends with
Friends.
Oh, friends. Okay,
Yeah.
I guess. All right. This other person said, and she texted me because she wanted to give more information because what she was saying is, I actually am friends with someone like this. So I really want to put them out there, but she didn't get a chance to text. I was curious to know what else she was going to say, but
You probably wanted to know who the person was that be cheating.
I probably know the person. She said, well, I'm good friends with someone who was a cheater and I pulled his card because I was not a participant, but I knew all parties. It was a very hard situation. And this person said, I know plenty, but I can't control what people do in his or her personal life. If my siblings are cheaters, do I stop being a sibling to them? Well, I mean, you really can't stop being a sibling, literally, but you can, like your friend not choose to have relationships with your siblings. Yeah. And finally, shout out to your one Mixxener.
Two.
Oh, okay.
I had three, but one of them sent me a voice memo. I'm like, right, I need you to text.
tell.
Yeah, I needed you to text me, but it's okay because I appreciate. Thank you. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you. Yes.
Still,
This
it's a
person's-
fucking 4-minute voice memo.
Oh, they had a lot to say.
God
Damn.
damn.
Yeah, we try to be in, like, our round table. We don't really say who unless they want to say themselves. But anyway, this person said, I couldn't be friends with a serial cheater. We all make mistakes, and that's one thing. But to consistently hurt someone, especially,
That ain't no mistake, right?
I think it's a bad decision. Or giant decision. You just didn't care. I feel.
You just got a problem.
So it ain't no mistake.
Yes, we agree. Especially if it's without remorse. Is a character flaw. This is true. Unless you don't believe in this though, right? That's a whole nother conversation. I'm not interested in having a friend and can't genuinely support. And as the other person said, if they cheat, that's their business, not mine. It only affects friendship if that friend involves them in their lives. You have to make sure the cheater friend is aware that you want no parts in their mess. As long as they can stay separate, then a friendship could work. So shout out to all of our folks who got the mix
Shout out to the
and
Mixxeners.
answers our roundtable mix. So again, gentlemen, could you be friends with someone who is a cheater? And if so, how does it affect the friendship? So see, anybody can kick off first, but so you brought you gave us this question. So
Okay, so before I get into my answer, I'm gonna tell you about why I felt like this would be a good topic because of some of the answers that I was hearing.
Mhm.
So some people were like, that is a certain kind of, I guess, character flaw, where they would be like, if you're the kind of person that does this, then you might do other kinds of things that can negatively affect the friendship. And I don't want to be friends with somebody that might do that kind of stuff that can negatively affect the friendship. And some people was like, understandable if you look at it from that way, but then other people's was like, I don't think that's realistic because that's a different kind of relationship that doesn't even involve you. And so they was like, how is somebody cheating on their spouse affecting you? Because it's not. And they was like, and then there was even people in there that was like, I know people that cheat on their spouses that I'm friends with, and they're way better friends with me than they are to their, because duality is a thing. You can be a piece of, that's like somebody that's a piece of shit husband but a great father. Or vice versa.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Very, very true.
It's like, so people were just like, I think that the reason why it became this long drawn out argument was because people kind of want to have, I guess, too much access to who a person is in every kind of way. And that's not always necessary for certain kinds of relationships. Like when you was like, if your sibling is cheating on somebody, like, does that affect how you are as a brother or a sister to them? No. You might, even if you tell them about it, it's like, I'm not going to stop fucking with you at all as my sibling just because, you know. And then some people were like, there's certain scenarios where it's going to sound crazy, but they understood why somebody was cheating. Or like, they was like, for instance, it was one comment. Yeah, one person was like, you know, they were in a marriage and they didn't want to be married anymore. And so, but they didn't want to divorce because of the process of the divorce and how they had young kids. So they're like, maybe wait a while until the kids older to understand a little bit better, and then they do it. So they were still doing stuff. And they were like, that's a little bit different, you know. But then also people were like, it don't got nothing to do with you. Like, if somebody cheating on their spouse, how you go, I'm not your friend because you cheating on this person, especially if they're not friends with the spouse. I can understand how sticky it can get if you know both parties.
That's what I like that person's comment.
That's when it's like, because at that point, it's not even about if you can be friends with them on some like personal decision as much as it's about, can I be friends with you because shit can hit the fan for me.
And definitely
either one of y'all. Like say if this person find out and they know that I know, now they not gonna be my friend, and you might think I told them, or you might, you know what I'm saying? You kind of putting your friend in a sticky situation.
Yeah,
but
especially if the friend hooks y'all up. Man, your friend done hyped you up.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, so you gonna put me on.
So in that situation, y'all, like I would have to have the conversation with the cheater friend.
Yeah.
And be like, look, you really putting me in a bind right here. So I don't know what you, because you kind of feel inclined to feel like you want to tell the other person, but you feel like you're loyal to both sides. So it's
that's a wild situation.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, continue. That's what makes that.
And then I was gonna say, sometimes, depending on, so this isn't like a common type of situation, but one of the examples that I wanted to use was when shit hits the fan publicly, like. Remember Ime Udoka and Be Alone, and it's like, what about the people that was friends with that? Because she was like, sometimes there's a larger picture that can maybe negatively affect a friend off of that friend cheating. Like he was a black coach in the NBA for a team that just came from the championship. They had a very public relationship. So it's like if there were any people that were friends of his, that's like, yo, I know what you're doing, bro, and if shit hit the fan, it's gonna look bad, whatever, and I can't just go tell her, but I'm letting you know because you're my friend, whatever, because she was like, how it made her look, and then how it made the kids look. She was like, when it happened, she had to go grab her kids from school because that type of shit affects them, where it was like, and then that's the kind of stuff that'll make you look at the friends and be like, even more so than it, like, well, let me not say even more so, but that's the kind of stuff that can make you look at the friends and be like, if you knew all this stuff was at stake, why wouldn't you say anything? But at the same time too, and this is a very big part of my actual response directly, you cannot control anybody. Because, like one of them comments said, you probably are friends with somebody that is cheating and you don't even know it. So again, like, you know what I'm saying, I think that's one of the, but it's such an impersonal, it's so not personal that you might not even know it. So it can't matter that much.
So if we go out, and I don't want to stray too far, but just to use the logic of we can't control people, which is absolutely correct. I tell my clients that all the time. Is there levels to this? Because now if you have a guy friend or brother who's, like I said, in domestic violence and he is the aggressor,
it's different.
So there are levels.
I mean, obviously, because when it comes to like abuse and stuff like that, like physical harm, like certain shit, or it's like imminent danger type shit, then you can't be friends with them.
But then somebody would be like, well, this is emotional harm and abuse.
You can say that because it might be, but then again, it might not. They might not even know they're getting cheated on.
Well, and it is not my place to
if they know,
you,
then
like,
that's even.
That nigga cheating.
If they know and they still there, then
that's what I was gonna say. That's right. Another.
That's what I'm saying. Right. It's so many levels that, and to the people that were talking about it originally, they was like, y'all are literally trying to force this to be a thing when it's not any of your business in that way because you're just a friend. You know what I'm saying? They just like, how you gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like how you just said. It feels like a domestic type situation where people just like, nah, I can't even be around somebody because, you know, that's different. But they was just like, especially when they like, I know that they was doing whatever. This person don't even know they're getting cheated on. And I don't even know this person like that to tell them. Like, remember how we went to the other conversation before? It's like, some stuff just isn't your place because of like who you are. Like, you're not going to go to some random ass person that you don't even know, or at least you shouldn't, and be like, hey, such and
But I
such
guess
cheating.
somebody's saying
you have no like.
I'm condoning bad behavior as a friend. I'm saying that I can be cool with you because, like the person said on the Facebook, that if I don't believe in that and you do, our morals and values don't even align. So at this point,
I don't believe in people smoking cigarettes, but I mean, I have family members and friends that do it. That doesn't mean I like them this less. I mean, I like them less. It's just I don't like it. I'm like, yo, you shouldn't do it. But I mean, they gonna do it, and I'm gonna just look at them and be like, yo, don't smoke that around me.
Okay.
And that's it.
Right.
But I mean,
so maybe they could say, like, you could set boundaries then, like whatever dirt you're doing, just don't bring that to me. You know, whatever it is, keep that over there. We still have our own separate relationship, but whatever you're doing with your spouse or significant other, whatever.
Duality is a thing. Duality is a thing. And then again,
I can see that.
I've had my days, where I was, wilding. And I might have,
youth.
Yeah, my youth, and I probably brought a couple little sneaky links around the crew. And my friends would definitely pull me aside and be like, yo, don't be bringing these girls, because what they do is like they get cool with the girls and then like they end up wanting to follow them on social media, which then leads to a whole lot that can really just mess up a whole lot, what you have going on at home. And so me and I also have friends that do what they do. I talk to them about it. It's like, all right, man, just. I'm gonna hold it down for them too. Like, if you need me to hold it down, I got you. But we can't always do it. We gotta remember it, because I might mess up a lie or something. You gotta keep me up to date.
I think it's fair to say if you don't have a mutual friendship, and like the person you don't know, like you were saying, it does change everything.
Yeah, it does, because if I'm cool with you, I'm not cool with your
right,
girl.
so I feel like
I'm cool with your girl. It's just because it's like that's your girl. So
I've seen plenty of years. I've seen last girlfriend. I've seen last girlfriend before that. I've seen, so I know this one might not even be here. And that's another thing too, because for the person that's like, oh, it seems like I'm condoning it. You only condone it if you condone it, because again, you can't control it. You can voice to them like, hey, you wildin'. What I'm saying? You put me in a position, or like. One of them situations where like,
or like, I don't think it's cool, but if you're gonna do what you're gonna do,
I mean, sometimes you know that, and then it is like, it just is what it is. Like, I'm not gonna condone it.
I want to ask the ladies though. I'm gonna spin this. Would ladies still be friends with their girlfriends who they know?
They are still friends. Like,
I'm glad you started that way, because a lot of people were like, the comments were all directed towards the men, and somebody was like, "Wait."
I figure it was. That's
what
why
about the fucking women that be cheating?
These women be out here being a little.
They had all the excuses for the women, but what if and he probably doing this anyway? And I'm like, oh, so if the guy, then y'all like y'all ain't shit for being friends if he a cheater. But if it's a girl, y'all gonna hold.
Women do that, and they have their own special. And what they do is, they have their own little special group chat, and they talk about that shit.
Ladies, do we have?
Yes, y'all do.
Some men do too.
Duh, everybody.
All right, everybody.
He said that's how he know women got it, because men got it.
Right, exactly.
The hell?
Or
women be out here, women really doing they shit.
For the women who do know that their spouses are cheating and they decide to stay. Like, as friends, we don't like it when we voice our opinions, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to support.
You know what? I think that it makes a difference too, though, when it's women, just in the sense of it's like an ease of manner, meaning like it might be easier for women to cheat than it is for men to cheat.
Definitely is.
And
I feel like we've had this discussion before.
Yeah.
Somebody tried to say that it's easier for men to cheat. I ain't gonna say
I didn't say it's easier for men to cheat. I said men cheat more.
Right. That was what it was. But to that point though, by it being easier, because I've heard some women say that they don't like they can't be friends with women that are like hoes, because for one, if that being your friend, it kind of puts you in a position to get tried like that all the time. It's like if you out and it's like they know your friend as a hoe, they gonna start to treat you. And the crazy part about birds of a feather flocking together is that there's some truth in that, but then at the same time, there's some assumption in that. Because if a girl is a hoe and you just assume her friend's a hoe and then the friend's not a hoe, they're gonna be like, God damn, like leave me alone. Because that happens.
Nasty, how do we define? That's a whole nother.
We know how to define it. No, it's not. It's not
We know how to define a hoe.
We know how to define a hoe.
So a woman who just, or a man, who's just
very promiscuous.
Very easy to have sex with.
Yes.
You know.
Could I be friends with her? I mean, her sexual life.
So to that point though, you're right, but
and there are some cool hoes.
There are, but to finish the thought on that too, because of how the birds of a feather thing goes for a lot of women, like women get treated differently when they're hoes than men get treated when they're hoes.
Yes.
And I think it's because like just maybe it's a masculinity thing, or like men are kind of different towards that, but a lot of women don't like being approached in that manner. So if they're friends with somebody or friends with somebodies that are like that, and then everybody's coming at them like that, they might be like, I don't like that, so I can't be around you.
Okay, and that's fair.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I was like, I like the perspectives from both sides, because it does kind of make a difference, even though the principle is still there. The principle just apply different if you're a man or a woman based off of.
But me, I'm gonna check the dude real quick. Like, I'm not her. We cool, but I'm not her. And I said, but some people feel like they don't even want to even entertain that or be in that space, because more likely she's engaging in whole behavior. They're just completely different in all other aspects.
We know
sometimes they are, sometimes they're not.
Behavior. We know you don't even look like a hoe.
But that doesn't mean I can't be friends with. I mean, I wouldn't, but because it's just. I don't need to judge. I feel crazy saying that right now, but
I got a story. When I was in college, right, there was these girls. They didn't go to my school.
Mm.
No, I'm saying that because
they with the copper.
No. I'm saying that because I'm saying that because it makes a difference. But I'm also not gonna say what school they went to. Mm. The reason why it makes a difference is because we know that sometimes you can do stuff on other campuses because you're not an everyday face there.
Yep. That
you can't do on your own because you are an everyday face there.
Yeah.
So when I was in college, there was these young ladies that went to another school, and
you might have to do a bully or something.
If we know about HBCU things, we are lit, and so oftentimes a lot of surrounding PWIs, a lot of stuff that's lit on their campus is tied to HBCUs. Mm-hmm. This is a fact.
That is a fact.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
And to this particular school, it wasn't that far. But they would come there to party with some HBCU people, whatever, and then from different places, how to. And well, I'm not gonna say that because that'll be anyway.
I feel like I know what school.
We can discuss that off the air.
Yeah.
But anywho though, one of the girls, and I seen it happen right before my eyes, where she just kind of just evolved into a hoe. She was just coming to party, but look, her friend wasn't. Her friend was not like at all.
Okay.
At all. And this was like I was like 19 or some shit like that. I was really young, but I was talking to the friend. It's not a hoe. I mean, for reference, one of them was. We still call it.
Imagine being a woman with a male-dominated.
I mean, listen, you getting some good stuff right here. You getting some good stuff, some insight into,
Go ahead.
But I'm talking to the one that's not a hoe, and you know what I'm saying. For one, that like promiscuity, like a lot of that didn't interest me. Like a lot of women that be hoes, I'd be just like stay away from me. You know what I'm saying? Stay away. I'm good. Don't. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people are interested because it's easy. Hell yeah, it's easy. So talking to her, and the crazy part about it is that this is how I know that she evolved into a hoe. Her friend didn't know she was a hoe. Mm-hmm. Or rather, she kind of seen her kind of acting like one, but she never acted on it. So I'm like, did y'all meet in college? Like, yeah, we kind of play the same sport and da-da-da-da. And all right, cool, what's up? Yeah. And she was like, yeah, like I only had sex with, like, the girl's telling me she only had sex with like 2 people before. Mm-hmm. It was like in high school, like one of the person was her first boyfriend, the second was the second, whatever. So I'm talking like, oh, word? Because, I mean, she was kind of insinuating that she wanted me to be the third, but that's another conversation.
Yeah.
That's another conversation. But her friend, I'm talking about, have you ever seen a situation, you ever seen the fucking lions surrounded like the gazelle or some shit? It was like that. Her friend is in the midst of all of these niggas and they all giving her this crazy attention and she's letting them. Like I'm talking, oh, dance with me, and they wildly picking up in the air, they passing it, and I'm looking like you not going. And she kind of looking like, damn, like I ain't never seen her act like this. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Now, fast forward, they come back, you know what I'm saying? And the friend's like, yeah, you know, they going over there with those guys. I don't want to be over there. Can I come over there with you and chill? Yeah, pull up. So where your friend at? Was she over there with them? Did y'all? It was just y'all two that came? Yeah. I'm like, it's like 7 niggas over there. All right. And I know the niggas, so I know exactly what was going on.
Oh, they had a train session going on.
She was a hoe for sure. But her friend, I don't know if they ended up being friends too much longer after that, but I just know her friend was kind of just like, kind of taken aback because she was just like, I never really seen it happen like this. Like I never really been friends with her.
See, that's what I feel like. I hate to say it, but like not that I feel like I couldn't be because I feel like our values, everything is just gonna be different. She's gonna think I'm just super snooty.
But
Could you imagine like seeing your homegirl about to take 7 dicks?
That's what I'm saying. I think she
like you wouldn't even like that.
It was 6. It was 7 people, but she only hit 6 of them. Because you know how it starts, that one guy that don't know how to talk to women.
Are we sounding judgmental right now, guys?
No, I'm speaking about what happened.
Okay.
But it's always that one guy because there's always that one guy. So the
6 dicks came.
The Twitter term is they be scaring the hoes. It's a gender neutral term. Mm-hmm. It's always that one guy that be scaring the hoes. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, imagine bringing a girl over here. She's going to have sex with everybody in this whole shit except for you. What's wrong with you? He was that, and he was bald headed when he was like 19. We don't know what the fuck was up that. Why you bald headed at 19? I don't know. To me, he kind of looked like the nigga off Menace to Society that got stomped out and came back and killed Kane. The one that Junior from the
Kid Star. Monroe.
His name is Junior.
Something.
His name is
Shout out
Junior.
to him. He was the best villain in the 90s.
That nigga is Junior from the Players Club. He kind of, but to that point though, you know what I'm saying? The girl was kind of taken aback. So, and to go back to Kid Six's point, sometimes hoes be decent people because they was friends, not because of that part.
Their personalities had nothing to do with their sexual.
And that's so to the point about the cheating. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it don't intertwine within the friendship for it to even matter. Mm-hmm.
But see, here's the difference. I think if someone, you have to also take into account people who may had their own traumas with that, or their own experience.
For sure.
It
could definitely be triggered.
And that's understandable.
Hoe, she's not hurting anybody, right? But somebody can identify with, like, again, we might not look at that as abusive, but it is a form of abuse, you know? So if someone doesn't identify with that and think that's not okay, then I can understand for that person saying, I don't think I can be friends with.
That's like the trauma response thing where it's like, you know what I'm saying? Some people are just triggered by certain things, and we understand.
Yeah.
And we understand, right?
It's
so
like
there's certain things that you really just like, you know, not to bring certain things around certain people. Like I know if I'm gonna do my dirt, if I'm gonna bring my sneaky leak around, like I know who I'm gonna bring my sneaky leak around. Like I'm not just going.
So like the case of us three, if Julian was on some stuff, he would definitely not tell me.
Yeah, no.
Out of us three.
Yeah, no. Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
I can be judgmental. Sometimes I've gotten a lot better as I've advanced in my career.
No, old Julian. I'm gonna say old Julian. If I was to do some.
I know. I didn't mean just cheating.
Yeah, nah. Like you cool, but like you not cool.
What?
Like.
What that mean?
You my nigga, but you not really my nigga.
So the person who condones all your foolishness. See, I'm the friend that will call you out.
No, listen. Now, when I was doing my dirt, I definitely got called out on it. And, you know, I had to really sit back because this person really, like, barked on me a bit. And the person that y'all wonder, Seti. I was talking to Seti about what I was doing.
I can expect that from Seti.
Yeah, Seti definitely barked on me. And I was like,
that's not even true.
Shout out to Seti, man. She definitely barked on me a bit. And I was just like, damn. Yeah, let me make sure I don't ever wild out again. But if I do, I damn sure ain't gonna let Seti know.
Because that's the thing. I think that's another extension of that, where it's like they might still be your friends, but they gonna wild you out for doing
facts.
And see, I'm that friend. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can come to me, but I'm gonna let you know how I feel about it. And if you know how I feel about it, and you don't want my opinion,
Yeah.
Don't let it be. Don't let
So
it be.
it's just certain things. Like I'm not gonna not stop being friends with you because you were doing that. But also at the same time, like I'm gonna talk to you about it. But then, like, yo, just don't bring that around because then it kind of like makes things a bit awkward because say if I'm in a relationship and then my girl peeps you doing that shit, you gonna have my girl looking at me. Crazy. I'm like,
and that happens.
Babe, now you know damn well I didn't know this nigga was doing that.
She gonna be lying.
Right.
Lying for that nigga. Fuck
you
that
know,
nigga.
like I don't need that because that also brings
stuff that can be
because that type of stuff can definitely bring drama into the house that you really don't need. But also too, it also makes things awkward too because it's just like if you know that person is a cheater and you know that person's in a relationship, but they're like you have that one attractive friend and they're like, yo, put me on your friend. That also makes things sticky and ugly because it's like, I know this nigga got a girl. I'm not doing it. And that's when you just gotta be like, nah. And sometimes
that'll be condoning it, right?
And sometimes, and that's where you gotta, you know, just be like, or even, you know, even if I see some of my female friends and, you know, and I peep their friends, I'll be like, yo, put me on your friend. They'll be like, Jules, no. Because they know how I am. But then I'll be like,
I'll put myself on.
Yup, I'ma do it myself then.
It works.
It works, you know? But you know, I always put the disclaimer out like, look, whatever we decide to do is between us. It ain't gotta involve, you know, X, Y, Z.
Never goes like that. Typically it does.
Sometimes it does.
You gotta know when to hold them, when to fold them.
Yeah.
That might not even be applicable. I've been wanting to say that all day.
Oh man, she was sitting at the right time. Oh man. But it can definitely be sticky, but also at the same time, like it really doesn't have to be sticky.
Like I said, I think it depends on the relationships you have with not only the friend but their significant other. I say if you don't have a relationship with them.
Can we agree that's probably the biggest factor?
That is the biggest factor. Because honestly, like I said, I don't condone this. I will talk to my friend about it, but if I don't know their significant other, then I really feel like that's for them to figure out because I don't feel like it's my place. Now, if I am friends with this individual, it's going to be a little different. So I don't know how that's going to play out, but it's not going to be just I'm leaving that alone because I feel like I'm being disloyal.
They did a table like, man, I just want to say I love my girl so much. You be looking like...
Right? But people are in situations like this. And I would hate for any of my... And that's where the same morals, values, principles come in because more than likely... people who are like-minded like you when he put you in that type of situation, you know, to begin with. So I do think that just a friendship in general, like,
right.
I definitely think, at least for me, I'm typically friends with like-minded people in regards to your character.
For the most part, right?
For the most part, from what we do know. Again, things we don't know, we don't know. But for
because we really don't know. Like, we friends with scammers, we probably don't know.
Some people, you feel like they scammers for reasons.
Hey,
I mean, it's just like cheating, right? Like
it's a lot of stuff,
especially this in the U.S. of A. So I think we do agree that the relationship does matter, and I don't think that you cannot be someone's friend because they're doing something that you don't like. But I also can see for those who feel like it just doesn't align with their principles, and they're like, I'd rather not be.
And like you had mentioned, it can also be something that's very triggering.
Yeah.
Like someone who
I get that point
on
too.
multiple times.
Right.
It's also a thin line between being intrusive and then duality. Because some people be trying to make shit matter for them that don't matter for them. You know
and also people have to...
You be late all the time to work.
And
I
people,
can't be over there.
People have to also like be mindful of projecting. Just because you strongly believe something does not mean someone else does.
Right.
Right? So you may be totally against cheating, and that's fine. You're entitled to your belief. But someone else may not share that same.
Facts, you know? Like, and that's fine. Like, stay over there, you prude. I ain't trying to hear that shit.
Why the person gotta be a prude?
Ain't nobody prude sometimes.
Yeah, ain't nobody trying to hear that. Ain't nobody trying to hear that.
I've probably been caught a prude in my life too.
Oh, hey Julian, you know, listen, man. You know that woman is married, and she was just talking to me, and she was telling me
Look, that's what I said. People have to be mindful. Just because you strongly believe in something does not mean somebody else does. So you can state your opinion, that's fine, but you can't get mad or like because somebody doesn't believe in the same thing that you do.
Yeah.
You can make the decision like, all right, well, we're just not going to be friends. That's fine. But I think people have to be mindful that we're very different, and that's okay.
It's okay.
You know?
If it applies for you to not be friends because of some other reason, it got to be a strong reason. If not, I mean, mind business, I guess.
Right.
That's it.
But as we always say when we ask these questions, we want you guys to get in the mix.
Yeah.
You know?
Please.
Can you be friends with someone who is a serial cheater?
Use the comment section.
Use the comment section. Yeah, get in the mix.
Definitely appreciate you guys. Also, we are at 60 subscribers on YouTube.
Let's get it.
Shout out to our Mixxeners, man. We just 40 subscribers away, man. So again, continue.
Yeah.
Spread this.
We can definitely get 100 before this year is out. I know we can.
So people are tapping in.
I'm drinking this like a 40. We can get 40. Is this 40?
And we also we say this all the time, whatever it is you guys want us to touch on, let us know.
Yeah, it's just sounded like 40. My bad.
Yo, T has been sipping on that like he drinks.
We was just talking about Minister Society too.
Right?
It's like an OE.
That's something we probably would have wore back in the day too, right?
Damn, I look like from the West Coast right now.
Right, I was on the West Coast. You definitely look like you from Cali with that.
Definitely do. In this episode.
Big Crit. Big Crit right now.
On my 40, man. This not being an episode. Let's go.
So let us know the topics that you guys would like us to touch on and anything else. Get it.
Yeah, we sounded real sad. Like, if your friend is at home cheating, please let us know now.
Get in the mix, guys. And you feel like
you might have mesothelioma.
It does sound like that. You may be entitled to compensation.
Where's your enthusiasm?
Okay, you guys, get in the mix. Tap in, leave comments, anything you guys want us to touch on, let us know. But specifically for the episode, do you feel like can you be friends with someone who is a cheater?
Can
you? We want to know. Drop in the comments.
That's good.
Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's your big dog Kid 6, Chi-Town's finest, Carlton, your dig, your girl Leah, aka the therapist. Always hold things down behind the scenes, even though she's not behind the scenes, but we still gonna rock out because she's here with us. Sister Spirit, so effing classy, aka so effing crafty, aka so effing classy.
Wait, you messing up. That's usually me.
I didn't.
No, you push yourself.
I caught it. Caught that shit. Until next time, we
And
out.
the Mixx.